Hi, everyone. My name is Bob Jablonski. I am a tax resolution specialist, and today I'm going to help you complete a Form 433-F. So the IRS has a number of Form 433s. Each of them is called a collection information statement, where they are compiling information on your assets, your liabilities, your income, and your expenses to get an idea of what you can afford to pay the IRS. There are a few different 433 forms. There's a 433A. The 433A form is when a revenue officer is involved in a personal collection issue. 433Bs are related to businesses that are not sole proprietorships. 433AOIC is related to an offer in compromise. We're going to talk about some of these forms later on in the next weeks or months. Today, we're going to concentrate on a 433F. This is what most taxpayers are going to have to deal with. When you're dealing with automated collections, ACS, which is anytime you owe the IRS and you're calling an 800 number, you're typically calling ACS. They may ask you for a Form 433-F if you're not getting into a full payment resolution with a debt. Today, it's under $250,000, up to $250,000. You might not be required for a 433 as long as you get into a full payment plan. If not, then they're going to request this of you. So this is what I'm going to help you. They may ask you to do this verbally by phone, or they may ask to go through this with you for you to fax them the written version. So we're going to just walk through how to complete this form. So in this case, we're going to just start typing just as you would with your information. And I'm going to assume that my taxpayers are James and Ellen Smith. And James and Ellen Smith live at 123 Main Street, and they live in Orlando, Florida, which is where I lived at one point. And we're going to give them a zip code that was once mine. If this requires that you have a different address than what you've had previously, you're going to check this button, but in this case, it's not. That address is in Orange County in Florida. Orange. I'm just going to assume their social security numbers. I'll give you some fake numbers. We're going to assume that Mr. Smith is 123-456-7890, and Mrs. Smith is 234-567-8901. So you're going to have to give them at least one phone number so they can contact you. I'm just going to give you Mr. Smith's number, and his number is 407. We're going to give you his cell phone number, 407-443-6788. And you could give him Mrs. Smith's number as well. Homework, I usually would not recommend giving them a work number. Might want to give them your home number. A lot of days today, we just have cell phone numbers. The next thing we're going to enter is the number of people in the household. This can be very important. It helps to calculate your allowable expenses for grocery and household expenses, as well as potentially looking at your housing allowances. So very important here. We're going to say that in addition to Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they have one child. They're all under 65. There's 3 of them. We're going to assume Mr. Smith has a business. He's a landscaper, and we're just going to call it Smith's Landscaping. And we are giving Mr. Smith's Landscaping an EIN of 99999. It's a landscaping business, as we mentioned. And he has no employees other than himself. He's the only person working there. Next thing was we're going to go through the bank accounts. And as it says here, you need checking accounts, ones that are just online, checking or savings account, money market accounts. Even if you have a PayPal account, it's looking for. And with all of these different categories, if you need more space than is on the form, you create an additional sheet if it's necessary. And in that additional sheet, you'll want the same columns and information as on the cover sheet here. So we're going to assume this is Chase Bank, and this is the first of many times that I'm going to skip the address just to save time here. In this case, we're just giving it some numbers. This is the bank account number. It's a checking account. and the current balance is $2,150. This is a personal account. However, Mr. Smith, he also has a business account, and we're going to deal with that here. Once again, this is a checking account. The balance here is $1,422. And we said this is actually a business account. So we're going to check that it's a business account. This is where all your investments come in. You may have, as a taxpayer, you may have several retirement accounts, 401k, an IRA, a Roth, a traditional. You could have a brokerage account. You could have all kinds of different accounts, commodities, silver, gold. All of these other investments, they belong here. And once again, you would use an additional sheet if necessary. We're just going to give you, in this case, this is going to be Charles Schwab, and it's going to be an IRA. And we're going to skip the address. Um, 744-6264. It is an IRA. And the current value of the IRA is $22,464.22, not business related. Today, nowadays, we're finding virtual currency, Bitcoin and all of its other variations, Litecoin, Dogecoin, all these different things, they're out there now. If you have any virtual currency, you need to put it in there. We're going to assume they didn't. I'm just going to put the mailing address without the city and state here for the Smiths. Your primary residence, their payment per month is $2,000. We're going to say $1,850. The year they purchased this was 2017. They purchased it for $325,000. Now, important here, if you are completing this, it's not the amount you always pay the mortgage company. The amount you pay the mortgage company may include taxes and insurance, and you'll see we're going to put that separately below. The current value here is, the IRS typically goes to Zillow. You can go to Zillow, or you can find it's anywhere else. You might have a real appraisal, third-party appraisal. That's the best. You may use your property tax bill if it makes more sense for you. But we're going to say in this case it was $400,000. And we're going to say, just to make it simple, the math, $280,000 is the amount owed, and the equity is $120,000. If you had a rental property, you'd put it here as well under other. I'm just going to put here car one. So this is where your car, your furniture, your motorcycle, a boat. Let's say you had a whole life insurance policy. Anything of value would go here that is not in another section. And so we're going to say here, car one, monthly payment, $325. Too much here, $325. We're going to say the year purchase, 2019. Final payment, $1,224. Current value, we're going to say the current value is $15,000. And because it's so new, it's actually underwater. So there's no equity in car one. Car two, we are going to put out there, and that car payment is $400. It was purchased 2017. Payments coming up a little bit more. It's due. It's $10,000, but you only owe $4,000 on it, and you have $6,000 of equity in the car. Once again, we're not expecting these things to have 0, 0, 0. This is for purposes of getting through this quickly. Most of these things, you're going to find this on an auto site, and you're going to get the exact value of the vehicle and the exact amount that you owe. Your credit card, you're looking at, let's say we have a Visa, and the credit limit is $18,000, only owe $12,000. It's letting the IRS know that you have $6,000 available, and the payment there is $325 per month. So we're going to go to the next page. And the next page, we're going to talk about, this is a little bit about the business, what accounts receivable. And we're just going to say customer one, We're going to skip the address as we said earlier, and the amount owed is $3,200. Now, if you have more than two of them, you're going to put it on an additional sheet. Total the additional sheet here and the full amount. We only have one accounts receivable, and that amount is $3,200. This would be if the business had a merchant account, they took credit cards. Mr. Smith's business does not take credit cards. Next, we're going to go to the income section. We're going to talk about employment. Mr. Smith is self-employed, and I'll show you later why we're putting it here, and we're just putting self-employed with no other information. The number is going to go down here in net self-employment. Mrs. Smith is employed. She's a W-2 employee. Mrs. Smith is employed by Busy Baby Daycare. Skip the address again. Busy Baby Daycare. And to make it simple, we're going to say she's just paid monthly. She's paid $2,000 monthly. She takes $150 per paycheck, and let's say $300. $250, and then another $50 goes to state. She's been with the employer for 2 years. So we're going to look down here to any of these other things fit. What the IRS is looking is for every penny that comes into your bank accounts, into your family monthly. And we could be talking about unemployment income, pension income, Social Security interest and dividends, alimony and child support. In this case, we got Mr. Smith, and we're going to say from his business, he gets $3,000 per month net. So if you read the directions that are below, and they give a lot of good directions to help you get through here, you're going to notice that it says for section 1 and 4 that if you don't have higher amounts, that you should use the actual monthly amount, or if it caps at an IRS allowed amount. And what we find out here is that for a family of 3, this caps at $1,610 for a family of 3, and that's what it's costing them. So we're just going to give them what it's costing them there. The only times you would change this if you had a special diet that was medically required, etc. Let's say for the 2 vehicles, you're spending $400 a month. You don't have any public transportation. This might be different if you've lived in a city like New York, where you both had a vehicle and you had to take public transportation, but most of us don't. We're now going to go down to the housing and utilities. We don't have any rent. Remember, we had a mortgage. The mortgage amount's up here, so we don't have to put that again. But we do have to put the utilities, which are $300 a month. We have to put telephone, cable, cell phone, internet, $250 a month, and another $400 for real estate taxes and insurance. Remember, we said if it's included in the mortgage payment, you take it out. You're only including principal and interest above there. Here's where you're going to put the real estate taxes and insurance above. If you didn't include it above, don't double count it, okay? And then $150 a month for maintenance and so on. So this is a total of $1,100 that goes right in there. Finally, health insurance is Mrs. Smith gets it through her employer. She pays $500 a month, and you're permitted to use out-of-pocket health care if your actual is more. Yeah, but if not, the IRS allows $75 a person. We're going to say just to go through here, generally $400 is going to be allowed here. We're not going to go too deep into this right now because there's limitations based on the county you live in and that size of your household. Generally, the IRS is going to let you take it. And even if this was zero, the IRS is going to allow you to have $225. Your child and dependent care, $400. I'm not going to ask you to complete this because it could get really confusing. Let's say Mr. Smith is paying $200 a month in estimated tax payments. They have some term life insurance and the total is $65. I'm not going to complete a lot of these things, but just be aware of them. Some of them are really important. Some of them, the IRS typically is not going to let you take care of if it's voluntary. But some of them, the IRS will allow you. If they're student loans and they're guaranteed by the federal government, yeah, that's permitted to be, minimum payments permitted to be taken. child support, court-ordered items are permitted to be taken. You might want to put all of the other here just so you know your total amount that you're being dispersed. And you may have to fight that battle with the IRS to allow it. Finally, under penalties of perjury, you're going to sign and date this. If you need to fax it, you will. If not, like I said, you'll do it by phone. So keep in mind, you're either going to do this verbally with ACS or you're going to fax it over to them so they can take action. So I hope you found this valuable. And if you did, please like the video so others will watch it. And please subscribe to our channel so you continue to hear more about what can help you in dealing with your IRS problems. We deal with IRS in two different ways for our clients. First of all, we represent them one-on-one. We stand in their shoes before the IRS so they don't have to talk to the IRS. The other thing is that we have a do-it-yourself program that starts at $199 and up, depending on how much help you need from us. And if you're interested in either of those programs, contact us. You can do that by phone at 972-821-1991, or even prefer, go directly to my appointment calendar at the address that's shown there. And feel free to set up a free 15-minute consult to see if either of our programs are a good fit for you. Until then, I hope you subscribe to our channel so you can continue to get some more of the good content. And until our next video, I wish you all the best. So have a great day and talk to you soon.